Okay, so today we are starting Module 1, Week 3. So all of our last 2 weeks, we put each module week into 2 weeks. So Module 1, Week 1 was 2 weeks. Landon, are you listening? Module 1, Week 2 was 2 weeks, but Module 1, Week 3 only has one story where the other ones had two. So Module 1, Week 3 is only this week. So I know it's kind of confusing, but that means this week is a grammar week and a spelling week. But since it's Monday, that means it's vocabulary day. So we have actually 10 new vocabulary words, which is quite a lot of words. So together we're going to go through what these words mean, and then you do have your normal vocabulary assignment like you always have, which we'll talk about later. But the first thing we have to do is go through our vocabulary words. So our first vocabulary word of Module 1, Week 3 is passionate. Does anyone in class with me know what passionate means? Zachary, would you like to give it a try?
It's trying for a goal.
Okay, trying for a goal. Anyone else want to say what passionate might mean? Landon?
Passionate means where you're passionate for something, where you want to do it, and you want to complete life.
Okay, so Landon said like complete what you're trying to do. Olive?
Where you love something.
Okay, Olive said where you really love something. So passionate is an adjective. It's a descriptive word. So I could describe you as passionate. And to have a passionate feelings means to have a strong emotion about it. So if you're passionate about something, you really love it or you're really interested in it.
Olive? Like I said.
Yeah, so Olive was right on the right track. So you could say, I'm very passionate about school. That would be a sentence that would go along with passionate. So that is our first word. Remember, it is an adjective. It's how you would describe someone or something, I guess. Maybe not something, maybe someone. All right. Our next word is impulse. Does anyone know what impulse means? Some of you guys definitely have impulses in your life. Impulse. It is a noun. It's a thing. Impulse. It is 2 syllables. Impulse. Zachary, you want to give it a try? Like your heart's beating faster?
Yeah.
When you have an impulse, your heart might beat faster, but that's not exactly what an impulse is. Either of you want to give it a try or no? No? Okay, so an impulse is the desire to do something. So sometimes you have an impulse to just, get up and go run a mile. Mrs. Kneiffel's never going to have that impulse, but someone might have that impulse. Like suddenly you just need to do this. Or, a lot of people are like impulse buyers. Like you go to the store, you see something, you just have to buy it. Okay, so an impulse is a desire to do something. So you could say, our impulse was to take every puppy in the pound. So you had the desire to buy all the puppies that are stuck at the shelter. So that would be an impulse. So that is number 2 of our vocabulary words. Our next one is contribution. Contribution has 4 syllables. It's a nice big word. It's a noun. It's a thing. It's something that you do. Anyone know what contribution means? If you make a contribution to something? Zach?
Might be thinking of constitution, but it's like a law.
Nope. Good try though. So a contribution, a person who helps to make something has made a contribution to that work. So if I assigned you guys a group project, okay, and you did say we're doing a reading poster, okay? That's the project. And you talked about the author, and you talked about the setting, and you talked about the plot, and then there was a finished project. All of you made a contribution to the project. You all did something to help complete something. So that would be a contribution, okay? So I could say, Olive made a contribution to the post or to the poster, okay? So contribution, a person who helps make something has made a contribution to that work. So you helped complete something, okay? Perfect. We got some big words this week. Our next one is distinguished. This is also past tense. It's an adjective. This is how you describe someone or something. Well, it says, or more like a group, or it could be a person. Distinguished. Anyone? Zach, you want to give it a try? Kind of. You're kind of on the right track. Anyone else? You might have. So, a distinguished group, or you could say person, is known and respected for their excellence or for what they're good at. So, I'm trying to think of like firefighters are a distinguished group because they're good at fighting fires and they're good at saving people. Okay. So here's a picture of a guy holding an award, and a sentence that would go along with that would be the distinguished inventor won an award for excellence in airplane design. Okay. So if you're distinguished, you're well known and respected for it. Like people would know, oh yeah, he does that because you're so distinguished. Okay. Our next word is a word that Mrs. Kneifel wishes she just used more in her everyday life because I think it's a fun word and I definitely don't use it enough. It is eccentric. ECCENTRIC, and it is an adjective. Olive, you have your hand up. What does eccentric mean?
Maybe like you're super good at something.
Not quite. Yeah.
Excited.
No, it does kind of sound like excited, but it is eccentric. So the meaning of the word eccentric means odd or like a little bit different. So it's an adjective. So sometimes you can describe someone as eccentric, meaning they're just like a little bit odd or they're a little bit quirky. You know, they have some different things about them. So you could say the eccentric inventor was always working on odd projects. So sometimes people definitely describe themselves as eccentric. Sometimes I don't necessarily describe myself as eccentric. But I'm trying to think of someone that's eccentric. I don't know. But it is I do like the word. I need to use it more. It just maybe means odd, a little bit different. You know, you kind of like beat to your own drum. You know, you're kind of just do your own thing. So that is an adjective. It's a way to describe someone or something. Landon? I would not consider you to be eccentric. I don't think you're eccentric. I think you're lovely, but I don't necessarily think you're eccentric, Mr. Landon. Our next word, like I said, there are so many vocab words this week. Our next word, another big one, is circumstances. What does circumstances mean? Landon, would you like to give it a try? Okay, so Landon said when you do something, the concerns that go along with it. Zachary?
It's basically a word for cause and effect.
Yeah, kind of like cause and effect. So circumstances is now the way an event happened or the causes of it are its circumstances. Okay, let me say that again. The way an event happened or the cause of it are the circumstances. So I don't really know how to explain that. So under the circumstances, the picnic was canceled. That means the circumstances are it's raining, okay, or it's lightning. So we had to cancel the picnic, okay? So the circumstances are why an event happened or didn't happen or this happened or this didn't happen, you know. Under the circumstances, Mrs. Kneifel wasn't able to sleep as much as she wanted. You know, I had to go to bed late or I woke up, something crazy like that. Everyone good on circumstances. I know that's just a long word, but that's a word that we've heard before, correct? Everyone's heard that before? Yeah. Our next word is evidently. This is an adverb. Evidently. All right, I'm getting my kids have never heard of it. So evidently, if something happened evidently, it happened for an obvious reason. So I could say, here's a picture with a person with a broken arm. And you could say, evidently, Leah had a very bad fall. Okay? Or evidently, like if someone's hair's crazy, okay? Like their hair's a mess. They didn't have time to brush it. Evidently, you know, Sarah woke up late. You know, you could obviously tell she didn't have time to brush her hair today. Or, you know, or evidently they're grumpy. You know, it's easy to tell. So that would be what evidently means, okay? It happened for an obvious reason.
They got hit by static.
Yeah. All right. Our next one is acceleration. Does anyone know what acceleration means? When I hear acceleration, I think of a car. Zachary?
Oh, yeah. Speed.
Yeah, speed. Anyone else want to add to that? Landon?
Acceleration is when it's when car how fast it goes and how long it takes to get up to that certain speed.
All right, so
it's like a super fast.
acceleration does have to do with going faster and stuff. So acceleration, the actual definition is the act of moving faster. Okay, acceleration. So when Mrs. Kneifel's in her car and I press on the gas, anytime that I'm going up in speed, that is acceleration. Even if I'm going up in speed like 1 mile at a time, it's still considered acceleration because I'm going up in speed. I am moving faster. Okay, Landon?
Not acceleration was how fast it takes to get up.
I mean, that's all part of it. You have to accelerate in order to get to a certain speed.
Yeah.
So the act of moving faster is acceleration. So you could say the acceleration of the car around the curve caused it to run off the road. So it was going too fast around the curve, went off the road. Zachary?
Isn't another word for acceleration?
Not necessarily, because the acceleration is the act of moving faster. The gears are like your car has to move up in gear. Well, like a manual car has to move up in gear as it accelerates. But that would be part of a manual car's acceleration. But it doesn't mean acceleration. What, Landon?
A manual car or auto?
No. A manual is where you have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like a stick shift. That would be a manual. You have to do it.
Yeah, my dad.
All right. We have 2 more. The next one is a prototype. Does anyone know what a prototype means? And if you see the picture, it has this cute little robot McGee thing on it. Prototype. Landon has his hand up. Want to give it a try?
A prototype is one of your first creations of a project that you're making.
All right, so Landon's kind of on the right track. He said one of the first creations of a project you're making. Zachary, want to give it a try?
The main project.
Okay, the main project. So the actual definition, you guys are on the right track. A prototype is a rough model created to test something before creating the final form. So a prototype is, say I want to invent a new video game. I'm going to make it as best I can. And then once I work out all the kinks and stuff, I'm going to make a final one. So a prototype is the model created to test out whatever you need to do in order to create a final one. That is a prototype. And remember, our modules thing is inventors at work. So we've been talking about inventors, and inventors often have to make prototypes, right? What's his face? Thomas, what was his name? Yeah, Thomas Edison definitely had to make prototypes of light bulbs. He didn't just make a light bulb one time and it was magic. No, you had to make prototypes, models. All right, and our Leonardo da Vinci did not make the airplane.
He did.
The Wright brothers. Yeah. Anyways, our next one is conceived, and this is a verb. It is something that you do. What does it mean if you conceive something? Normally you're thinking about it like an idea. You conceived it. Zachary? Not exactly. But yeah, I mean, those do sound alike. He said received and conceived. They do sound a lot alike, but not exactly the same. Olive?
Maybe like something that you're thinking of.
So you are on the right track. If you thought of an idea to create something, you conceived it. So like thinking. If you conceived an idea, you thought of it. Okay? Or if I conceived a prototype, I made the prototype. Okay?
What really helped me is the picture.
Oh yeah, because here's a person thinking. That's what the picture is. So she thought of an idea. So I could say, Cora conceived an idea for a safer bicycle helmet, and that would go nice along with our pictures. Okay, so we're going to do a 5-second review real quick. Can someone remind me what roots we have already learned this year? What roots? Zach, tell me one.
Phone.
We have learned phone, and do you remember what phone means? Yeah?
Like sound.
Sound. Phone means sound. That is one of them. Phone. Check. What's our, oh, wait, I should write sound, not check. What's another root we have learned? Phone means sound. What's another root? We've learned 3 more. And or Zachary?
Don't remember the main root, but it means light.
Yes, photo was one we learned. Photo means light. And then any of the other ones do we remember? We had viz. Remember what viz means? Anyone? What? See. Viz means see. And then our last one, odd, meant, what does it mean? Here. Yep. So we have already learned 4 roots, and we're going to learn 2 more really quickly. Well, not necessarily really quickly. The new one, I'm going to erase those ones. The ones were our review, and our new ones are auto, A-U-T-O, and bio. So a word with auto would mean automatic. Does you saying the word automatic, does that help you maybe know what auto means? Anyone want to guess a meaning for auto? Landon? So what does that mean? Yeah, well, you can't use the word in the definition, buddy. So what does it mean? If something automatically happens, Jack?
I have one for both. For auto, it starts itself.
Yeah, perfect. Auto means self. Auto means self. So if something automatically does it, it does it itself. So if you have an auto start car, it self starts, okay? So auto means self, fabulous. And then we have bio. So a word for bio would be biology or, oh, I forgot my attendance. Hello. Yes, I'm so sorry. All right, bye. Time out. All right. I got to take my attendance because Mrs. Kneifel keeps on forgetting. Oh, I've been so terrible about that lately. I used to be so good at attendance. I don't know what happened. All right. I mean, you guys are all here anyways, so.
Mrs. Kneifel,
Yes, Landon.
you know the thing where I said it was cool up on the counter? That's for me to make it.
Yeah, I need to get you the stuff for that. Okay. So bio. So a word would be like biology, biomechanic. Anyone? What does bio mean? Auto means self. What might bio mean? Zach?
Bio means 2.
Nope.
So I was thinking of
Okay. Landon?
I think bio means like
Yeah.
Like technology?
Bio means life. So biology is the study of life, okay? So auto means self, bio means life. And we're going to review that this week. You guys got to remember, okay?
Yeah, I just picked up the word
Bio means life. I just said that. Okay.
No,
Biome, that is like, isn't biome like part of, let's look it up, biome.
Isn't it like part of it? Yes, it's like
Biome, a large naturally occurring community of flora and fauna occurring in the major habitats. Yeah. So there is life in a biome, right? You know, it's a habitat, so things are growing. So perfect. Okay, so now we have learned 6 roots. And I'm going to make a list. So because otherwise Mrs. Kneifel is going to start forgetting. That way we can review them all the time. So one of you 3 remind me to make a list.
Okay.
But we are also going to talk about 2 prefixes. Does someone remember where a prefix goes? Zach?
Front of the word.
At the front of the word. So the 2 prefixes we are talking about are IR and IL. So or ill. So they both mean the same thing. So I'm going to give you some words that have these prefixes to see. Oh, hold on. To see if you guys can figure out what that means. So like IR would mean like irregular, or IL could be illegal. Irreplaceable. I just spelled that wrong. No one look at how I spelled that. What's another IL? I don't know, but anyone know what it means? I have irreplaceable, irregular, illegal, and it means IR and IL both mean the same thing. Zach, want to give it a try?
Oh, I know another IL.
What? Oh, tell me.
Illustration.
That one doesn't really fit. That's not a prefix necessarily. That's just how the word is spelled. Because lustration isn't a word on its own. Where if I take out IL, legal, it's a word on its own. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And like irreplaceable, if I took out IR, replaceable could be by stand on its own. What?
It means to not.
Not, yay, not.
And if you take out the IR and irregular.
Yes, irregular or just be regular. So it means not. So illegal means not legal. Irregular means not regular. Irreplaceable means not replaceable. So both of these, IR and IL, have the same meaning, and it is not. And then auto means self, and bio means life. We are so fabulous, my friends. Okay, next I'm going to share my screen in just a second while you guys are getting on your computer heading to HMH. And I'm going to share my screen, and we're gonna, like I said, we have a short amount of time this week compared to normal to get stuff done, which is why we are like quickly moving through stuff. Because we only have 5 days to do everything where normally we have a longer time. So we're going to go through the prepare to read page, and then tomorrow we're going to read our story. I do think this story this week's a good one. It has fun illustrations. It's different than the books we've already read so far this year. It is, well, you'll see in a minute as soon as I share my screen. You guys should have it on your assignments. Captain Arnacio is what it's called. Arnacio. I know it's kind of spelled funny. So it is the prepare to read Captain Arnacio. And as soon as my screen gets to it, I will share it with you guys. Oh, wait, that's not where I wanted to go. Just kidding. Sorry.
Did anyone join your meeting?
No. So fun fact, if you're viewing this and it doesn't seem the same as always, I'm recording this early because it is picture day. So in case later my say I'm in the middle of rotation 2 when I normally record this and it gets messed up, I wanted this to be, I can post it for everyone. That way they can see it in case it gets messed up later. Does that make sense? So no one's on with me. It's just my 3 friends here right now. But it's just so that everything gets done and accomplished. That way anyone can view it if I get in the middle of it and it gets messed up. So I'm going to the prepare to read page, and then I'm going to share my screen. So, like I said, I do like this story. And we're going to find out what it is all about. We are almost out of time. Yeah, the front cover looks funny. It's this guy that he kind of looks like egg-shaped to me. I don't know. I think it's silly. So the entire thing is called Captain Arnacio, Inventions and Misadventures in Flight. So that miss is in parentheses, which I think can lead us to be like a snap. I feel like misadventures. What does that kind of mean if I say misadventures? Anyone want to, what does that word mean? How about the word mishaps, right? Like things that don't go that swimmingly. So if you had misadventures, we can assume it's something not going too great. So the genre study, can someone read nice and loud the genre study for me? Just that first line, Landon. Yes, you're reading the right one. Imaginative. Yep. So this is a fantasy story. It is talking about Captain Arnacio, who is a character that is not real, and the events that happen are not real. Okay? Not real. The plot of a fantasy usually includes a conflict or a problem and its resolution or how it's solved. So there's going to be a problem in the story, and hopefully by the end of the story, it is going going to be solved, and we will figure that out later. Does anyone know if I'm writing a fantasy story and I'm the author, what's normally my purpose? If I'm writing a fantasy story, what would be my purpose? Love, you should have a mask on. You're standing up. Anyone? What? I don't know what you're saying. What is my if I'm the author and I'm writing a fantasy story, why would I be doing that? What's my author's purpose, Zachary? All right, so what does that mean? Remember, you write it to inform, persuade, or entertain. If I'm writing a fantasy story, which one am I doing? Informing, persuading, or entertaining? Yeah, this is an entertaining story. It's supposed to be a story that we're supposed to like. We're not necessarily supposed to learn anything from it. And since it's not real, we're not going to be persuaded to do anything. So there's going to be a conflict. Hopefully there's a solution. Fantasy stories also include sensory detail, figurative language to develop the setting and the characters. So normally fantasy stories, there's a lot of detail that really gets your mind thinking. Figurative language could just be like the way the characters are talking that is pertinent to just the character. And fantasy stories may include illustrations that describe the characters and setting and give clues about the plot. I can tell you, hey, Mr. Landon, let's focus. I can tell you the illustrations play a really, really big role in this story. And they're good illustrations. They're super goofy. I really like them. So hopefully you guys like the story as much as I do. And like I said, we will begin reading it tomorrow. So it is a fantasy. And the text is, like we already talked about, inventions and misadventures. So what do we think the story's going to be about? Just tell me. Give me a prediction. Captain Ignacio, inventions and misadventures. In flight. It is a fantasy story. Tell me what you think is going to happen. Landon? Okay, so Landon, make sure to look at the title page and you can see that Captain, we're going to assume that's Captain Ignacio. We don't know for sure yet. It's a rocket strapped to his back, and Landon thinks he's going to try to send himself to space. So you want to continue, Landon? Oh, he thinks he might get stuck in space. We can assume since it has the word inventions, Captain Ignacio was probably a what? An inventor. And I told you that MIS, misadventures, means something probably doesn't go right in Mr. Captain Ignacio's life. And since it says in flight, we can assume it has something to do with flying. Correct. Okay. So, like I said, we are going to start this tomorrow. There are 10 vocabulary words. It's kind of a longer story, but it is a good story. So let's just quickly review the words we talked about today. Were passionate, contribution, eccentric, evidently, prototype, impulse, distinguished, circumstances, acceleration, and conceived. I was reading them off my screen. Olive thought I just remembered all those. No, I was reading them. And then remember, auto means self, bio means life, and prefix IR and IL both mean not. Those are going to be important. So like I said earlier, we're not shoving 2 weeks into one, because the module week 3 is always only 1 week instead of 2. You'll see as we continue on. But that means that you'll be taking another module assessment like you did on Friday. You'll be taking it this Friday. So there are more assessments than we normally have this week, but that is okay. We will get through it together. So the last little bit is your homework for today. I'm going to get on and share that screen real quick. You guys can head to Google Classroom. That way you can see what I am talking about. So your homework that is due Wednesday. So you have today and tomorrow. It is due Wednesday by 7:45 a.m. is vocabulary assignment like you have done in the past. Literally, I copy and paste the same directions, but I change the words. So nothing is changing. It is the same as what you have done in the past. All you have to do is, there are 10 words. I thought about making you guys do 5 sentences, but I was being nice and you only have to do 4. So you have to choose 4 of the 10 words listed and create a sentence out of them. You may not put more than, you have to have at least 4 sentences. So that doesn't mean you can put 2 words in the same sentence. So you need to have 4 sentences. Sorry, I'm trying to share my screen with you. You need to have 4 sentences total, 1 with the vocabulary word in each. You get a point for spelling the vocabulary word correctly. You get a point for having a capital letter at the beginning of the sentence. You get a point for having punctuation at the end of your sentence, and you get a point for your sentence making sense. Some of you guys really need to work on reading your sentences before you turn it in, because if you write yourself, you'd be like, oh yeah, that does not make sense. So some of you guys really need to work on that. Oh yeah, so get on that level and work on that. And so it's not sharing my screen, but anyways, you guys know what it is. It's under September 14th through 18th on your Google Classroom, and the 10 words are already listed. It is worth a total of 16 points, so each sentence is worth 4 points. It is due on Wednesday. If you have any questions, of course, contact me, but this is like the 3rd time you're doing it, so you should be good to go. Actually, no, it's like the 4th time you're doing it, so you should be good to go and totally know what you're doing. The code word for today is, anyone want to suggest a code word? Landon? Popcorn chicken. That's what's for lunch today. The code word is popcorn chicken. Your homework is due on Wednesday. Thank you for joining me. I know this was a little bit different just because of picture day today. Great job, guys. My kids in class, you have 6 minutes to get started on your homework and to put in the code word popcorn chicken. Bye, guys. Yes, you make